Hello everyone and happy holidays. Today we're gonna take a break from the budget deck series to take a look at a meta deck that recently had a resurgence, Adamancipator. I remember this being a meta threat when the game launched back in Tri-Brigade format and being at the wrong side of a beating many times. So this is a that grass looks greener deck, which makes it a little harder to build for a free-to-play player as myself. Because of this and that I most likely won't be able to play too much over Christmas, I decided to get this video out before I was able to completely finish the deck. It still very much works and I've had some awesome games. On the screen now you can see what I got versus what I'm aiming for. And as you can see, I'm well on my way. I'm only missing a single card in the extra deck and mostly hand traps in the main. Now the actual deck, Adamancipator, it's a synchro/link combo deck, but I focus on earth and rock monsters that can put up some truly fierce boards with a ton of negates. If you don't know how that grass looks greener works, it lets us mill cards until we have the same amount of cards in our deck as our opponent. Usually that's 20 cards. To that end, we have a number of cards that activate when sent to grave or in the grave, but I'll go over those in a little bit. It can very easily OTK with potentially a Borlow Dragon and an Access Code Talker. I've also put in my favorite little combo, Union Carrier and DBDS, which extra deck locks your opponent as long as DBDS is equipped to a monster. You can only equip it to a dark or dragon monster, so I usually go for Borlow. It also increases the monster's attack by an additional 1000. Otherwise, the deck very much revolves around the main deck Adamancipator and Block Drag, with a small Prank Kids engine, because as Rocksies' name implies, it's a rock type. The Prank Kids work very well for the deck, as a single one represents a Link 3 monster, and Rocksies meshes with the Adamancipator monsters. Speaking which, the Adamancipator monsters lets us excavate cards from the top of our deck, and lets us summon any non-tuner rock monster at level 4 or lower, while the Adamancipators themselves are tuners and can special summon, which makes for very easy synchro plays. We also run a small Koa'ki Meiru package, because again, non-tuner rock types. Fairy Tale Snow is also here, which is pretty standard for grass decks, along with some similar cards in Tackle Crusader, which also lets us book a moon, and Revival Golem. It summons itself when milled with either grass, or we also have Miracle Rupture. Block Dragon is crazy. It can special summon itself any number of times from the graveyard by banishing 3 rock type monsters. It has a hard once per turn that when sent from the graveyard to the field, it can add any number of rock types to your hand, which levels at up to 8. Coincidentally, the Adamancipator main deck monsters are 2 level 2s and a level 4, which adds up to 8. Small World for search power and Adamancipator Signs for recursion. That wraps up the main deck. The other cards are hand traps or just extenders. But in terms of the extra deck, we have Adamancipator Raptite, which is like a regular Adamancipator monster, with the exception that it lets us summon any rock type, not just non-tuners below level 5. Then we have the big boss, Adamancipator Dragite, which works a little different. It still excavates, but instead of special summoning, it lets us target cards on our opponent's field up to the number of rock monsters we excavate and put them back in the hand, the opponent's cards back in hand. It also has a spell Trap Negate if there is a water monster in the graveyard, which the Prank Kids can easily provide for us with Dropsies. Baron and Shengying are also here as just general strong synchro monsters. Gallant Granite lets us search a rock type monster from our deck, usually being Block Dragon if we don't mill it off of grass. It also lets us special summon in face down position from our hand rock type monsters. Then the rest of the extra deck are just generic strong cards like Apollosa, Underworld Goddess, and the like. And I gotta say, this deck is just incredible. It can go so far. You can fill up an entire board with just synchros and links. You can have like 3 or 4 negates on board quite easily, and strong monsters and an access code for popping with a bunch of stuff in the graveyard too. It's just really good. It's kind of weird why it fell out of the format. I guess with like the old barrier statue flu stuff, it wasn't great just trying to combo off, because mostly it would wouldn't work. And shit, it can even play the Union Carrier stuff, which is also really good. So that's pretty much the deck. I strongly recommend it. And as always, I'll post the entire deck list in the description, along with the cards I'm missing. Thank you so much for watching, and as usual, like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Master Duel deck lists and content in the future. I'll leave you guys with a crazy game I had with the deck. I'll see you later.